if people express their interest in coming on but don't have an intention or want to do it in general, why do you think we kind of hide behind our screens and say that we'll do something but then don't follow up?
Oh my God, I was listening to a podcast today and it was just about this. It was, idealism is nothing without action. So you can think whatever you want and, have your views and be a person who, believes in a certain thing, but it's nothing without action. And I think we hide behind our screen because it's safe. It keeps us behind closed doors, and it's like a comfortable environment, but nothing good happens in your comfort zone.
Welcome back to fksalad. Here with a new friend today.
Hi everyone, I'm Chetna.
I was referred to speak to Chetna through my friend Jess. She was on one of the earlier episodes. Wow, we're really playing with the light here today. We're not driving around today, but Chetna and I decided to meet up downtown Toronto, get to know each other, have a great conversation, and try a little vegan cookie.
Right, we got some sort of orange chocolate. I don't even know.
This is an orange chocolate, vegan, gluten-free. I have no idea.
It's probably made out of ice. Because, isn't that what veganism is? Just ice? I'm a vegetarian, I can say this.
Ice?
All you can eat as a vegan is ice?
No, this isn't true. This is why we bring you on, to educate you that we eat more than just ice. But you're a vegetarian, okay.
It's just, interesting. This is really good.
It tastes like just a normal cookie, doesn't it?
Yeah, really good. I like it, actually.
How long have you been vegetarian for?
Since I was 5.
Really?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I mean, on and off. I tried eating meat about 3 years ago and I got really sick. But it's a huge thing in Hinduism, and my mom is Hindu.
Okay.
So, save the animals.
Amazing. What kind of food do you eat then? Vegetarian. Do you cook for yourself or you eat a lot out?
Not ice. I don't eat ice. I do cook for myself. I try to live really plant-based, so I eat a lot of quinoa, a lot of veggies, a lot of salad, a lot of Asian food, a lot of Indian food. I think my favorite thing right now is pickled beets. I eat a lot of pickled beets.
Love pickled beets. Well, thank you for jumping on and trying this cookie with me. It sounds like I don't need to do too much educating because you already know the way it is.
How long have you been a vegetarian?
Vegan now for over a year.
Nice.
Also kind of experimenting for the past, probably 3 or 4 years, just figuring out what was best for my body.
Right.
When I say experimenting, it's I was vegan, but,
Yeah, it's really hard.
It was hard for me just because I thought I could kind of come up with my own idea of it, and you can, but I was still going around saying, I'm vegan. But I was making plant-based decisions and doing the best that I could for what I wanted to do, and I think that's just as important.
Absolutely.
Just to do what makes you happy and what you believe is the best you can possibly do for the environment.
Yeah, sustainability is huge, and it's crazy how much animal farming and agriculture like that can ruin the environment.
Yeah.
How does your body feel, though? Because I know for me, when I'm a vegetarian, my energy level is huge. I'm jumping up and down, and it's something that I didn't notice when I was eating meat.
Exactly that. I've never felt better. This is the way I'm going to be for the rest of my life.
Nice.
I have so much energy. I'm so much happier. I just feel great all the time. And I remember even days when, 2 or 3 years ago, where I let meat slip in, or I decided to have meat for a day or whatever. It wasn't the right decision, and I always ended up feeling after I ate meat. And I would go out for wings with friends even when I've been vegan, and I'd order my pickled sticks or whatever.
Pickled sticks, love it. Yeah, or eat their carrot sticks from the side.
Yes, everything.
Done that.
Everyone would be kind of poking fun at me, vegan this, vegan that. But then they're the ones walking out with cramps after just 20 wings and stuff.
Yeah, it's true.
Never felt better. But great food conversation to get things rolling. It's cool to have someone on that I've never met before. I've done this a few times. Conversation flows really nice, and it's kind of a good way to get to know someone to just do it in a public setting like this.
So random. friend and we're just parked inside the street. But thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Where did you grow up?
I grew up in Toronto. I currently live in Scarborough. And yeah, born and raised. It's really, I love Toronto. It's my home forever.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Did you go to school for anything?
Yeah, so I did my bachelor's at University of Toronto Scarborough. We're still part of U of T. There's a lot of hate around that, but same institution. And I did my bachelor's in political science and media.
Okay.
But I'm not doing anything related to that. I mean, sort of on the media side, I do social strategy. Currently freelancing for a few different companies.
Oh, cool. In terms of social strategy, what do you kind of implement to the table?
A lot of different things. I think we live in a really interesting time where most marketing is geared towards social media right now. So there's a lot of creating content that works for that specific client. So one of my clients is Center for Mindfulness Studies, and I do a lot of blog posts for them. And another one is this woman named Larissa, and she owns a company called Mindful Momentum. And for her, it's a lot of social content, so videos, images, when to post those videos and images, who to cater the ads to in terms of demographics, and that kind of thing.
But that wasn't what you obviously went to school for. How did you kind of find yourself in that path?
I mean, I think I went to university thinking I either A, wanted to go into journalism, or B, wanted to be a lawyer. And I just felt like the industry for journalism was way too saturated. And being a lawyer, well, yeah, that's not my GPA. It's not going to happen. I'm not the most debatable person. I don't think I can hold a good argument unless it's I'm yelling at somebody down the street. It's not going to happen. I can't fight you.
Fair enough. So explain a bit more about the companies that you work for then. They seem centered around, sorry, you said one mindfulness of well-being or?
Yeah. That's kind of what I'm trying to cater my life's work to right now is more mental health advocacy. So I'm trying to find clients and I'm working with people who I think can really change the way that mental health resources are advocated and given to people.
Okay.
So that's kind of what I'm working on now.
And you decided to go more that route for any particular reason?
Yeah. I actually have depression and anxiety and post-traumatic stress disorder. And growing up, I didn't have resources to kind of lean on and get support from. So now that I'm older and I'm trying to figure out what I want to do with my life, what fulfills me, I'm kind of leaning towards that whole world of things and trying to make it different for people.
Okay. How has that been so far for you then, in terms of putting that out into the world and doing what you can to kind of educate?
It's definitely really interesting. I started on my own social platform about 4 or 5 years ago when I first got diagnosed, and nobody in my world would talk about it. Nobody, even if they were going through it and they had gone through it, it wasn't something that people would tell me. So I felt really alone. I felt like I'm the only person in this whole world going through this thing that 1 in 5 people have, and it was hard. There's a lot of stigma. There's still a lot of stigma, especially as an Indian. I'm Indian, but I'm born here, so I guess I'm Indian Canadian. But especially as an Indian, the stigma is so real. Talking about depression, talking about mental health is a sign of weakness. And so it's a lot of fighting through those barriers and trying to make it different for the next person.
So when you say fighting through those barriers, is there any specific experiences where you've actually had to because you're Indian, or that you'd like to expand on?
Yeah, not even just an Indian though. So my mental health journey was rapid. I kind of went from 0 to 100. But I remember when I was in second or third year university, and I went to a school here in Toronto. So, you would think that a lot of people were educated, but they weren't. One of my best friends at the time, he found out that I was on antidepressants. And I went on antidepressants because I could not control my mood. I couldn't get out of bed every morning, and that was something that was really difficult for me. And I confided in a friend who I think was a little confused. And I think looking back on it, it was just because he didn't understand. But he was really taken aback by the fact that I was on medication for my mood. And he was kind of just really scared for me. He told me that I was using medication as a crutch to figure out to how to be happy, and I don't think that's true at all. It's no different than you taking insulin for diabetes. It's no different than you taking blood pressure medication. Yeah.
On the show, we often talk about the pros and cons of social media. It usually comes up about every other episode. For spreading awareness of mental illnesses, pro social media?
Yeah, I mean, and yeah, absolutely. I think that for me specifically, I'm a nobody. I'm just a regular person kind of dealing with it. And I think talking about it really helps to normalize it in my groups of friends and, advocate resources that have worked for me. And it's a good tool for that.
Right.
But there's a lot of cons, especially in the mental health world. Living in this digital age, people don't take enough time for rest and recovery. I think that's like the hustle mentality. You need to work harder. And the less you sleep, the more successful you are. And social media actually is worse because I think a lot of people will scroll right before bed. And your mind's kind of always on, and you're being triggered by, other people's happy lives and glorifying the next person and what they're going through because it looks better, and you wish you had that.
Right.
And I think that can really play a part in how terrible social media is for your mind.
How can one or yourself take care of your mental health?
I mean, there's tons of ways. I think you have to kind of find a way that works for you. Rest and recovery is a huge part of it. How many hours of sleep are you getting? How are you taking care of your body? Are you eating nutritious meals? Are you exercising in a way that makes you feel good? Otherwise, getting treatment, therapy. There's tons of different types of therapies. So cognitive behavioral therapy isn't just one of them. There's mindfulness-based therapies. There's group therapies, talk therapy in general. And also, like, practicing mindfulness is a huge way. That is something that's really resonated with me and I think helped me. Basically, the practice of mindfulness is to be present with your emotions without judgment. And that's something that's really big because I feel like a lot of people judge themselves, and that makes things a lot harder. So it's finding a way that works for you, and whatever way it is, really kind of honing in on it.